There are a lot of shows out there that dare to challenge the paradigm of how to fall in love. But arguably, one of the biggest is that of Married at First Sight. This social experiment has people who have never met each other be analyzed by various relationship experts and then put together into couples that should work, are then married without knowing each other, and then are documented into seeing how they would actually work out as a couple. The Australian version just got done with Season 8 recently, and it's raised a lot of questions about who is still together. So allow us to show you Married at First Sight Australia, Season 8, and where they are now. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Alana and Jason. When Alana and Jason were paired up, it was clear that they had an attraction to one another, mainly in the physical sense. But Jason claims there is more to it than that. There is a lot more to Alana and I's relationship than that, but obviously that's a very strong point of ours, he confessed. Alana seemed to be indicating that the two did indeed make it through the series. I think we're going pretty good, she told the radio trio. The couple made it all the way to the final vow ceremony, and Alana changed her mind at the last minute, opting to stay with Jason despite going into it with the mindset to leave. So you'd think this would be the ultimate confirmation that they were able to make it through and enjoy their marriage, right? Well, no. Because when the reunion dinner happened, they came separately. So, despite stating that they would stick it out, they didn't. Such is life. Patrick and Belinda. When it came to Patrick and Belinda, they were a surprisingly good match for very deep and personal reasons. Belinda was someone who never had a boyfriend, and then Patrick was your hallmark guy, if you will, in that he didn't have much luck in love. So that kind of duality made it that they had this potential chemistry to find love in each other. In pics obtained by The Wash, taken in February, Patrick was snapped dancing up a storm in Sydney with friends. And though Belinda wasn't with him, he was still wearing his wedding ring. Furthermore, the pair have been spotted in Melbourne, and the couple have even posed for photos with MAFS fans. Now, obviously, this isn't the best confirmation ever that they are still together, but considering some of the other couples and the evidence provided, there is reason to believe in them. Beth and Russell. Look, there's a serious danger when it comes to shows like Married at First Sight, and that's that while science may seem logical to base a potential marriage on, even the scientists admit that they screw up, that it's only as good as far as getting them to the altar. And that is best proven with Beth and Russell. Not only were they a mismatch, it was basically doomed from the start. And while it's true that they accepted that things might not go the way they wanted, Beth literally said that she felt robbed by the experience. He wasn't the person I had envisioned, Beth admits to TV Week. I was open to whatever was happening, but I definitely had a moment of shock. She even went on to talk about the wedding itself, and how she was alone with all of these feelings for hours, and that though she was trying to make it through, it was an incredibly trying time for her. I want an amazing relationship, and if I can't find that here, I have that with myself. Just as shocking, though not really, just a few episodes into making the season, Russell was found out to be on dating sites, which means he was searching for someone despite the show not revealing his fate. In short, Russell is a jerk and Beth deserves better. Joe and James. Going now to a slightly less bad relationship, Joe and James was definitely a couple that you looked at and wondered if they would be able to go the distance. And sure enough, despite them trying to make it work, much more than our last couple did, that's for sure, they eventually decided to part ways. Fans were tipped off when the 39-year-old single mom was spotted shopping with her kids, her ring finger noticeably bare. In video footage obtained by the Daily Mail, James was seen at a Melbourne nightclub getting cozy with a mystery woman. He was seen dancing the night away. They were kissing on the dance floor, and he clearly didn't care who saw, a witness told the publication. But don't feel bad for Joe. She apparently has a new man in her life as well, and said guy has been taking pictures with her and posting them on social media. So they seem happy despite the breakup. Samantha and Cameron. If you watch these love/couple shows long enough, you get used to the fact that somehow someone is going to go and cheat with somebody else on the show. And for the couple that was Samantha and Cameron, that's exactly what happened. Because when they were first paired together, a lot of people thought they might just make it, as they had some sparks going on between them. However, as time went on, they started to struggle. A lot. And when Cameron started to connect with another struggling person on the show in Coco, they were the scandal of the season, as they hooked up and made sure to leave their marriages in the experiment to presumably go and be with one another. Now, as to whether they did stay a couple after the show, we don't know. Cameron hinted he was with someone, but it's not been officially confirmed to be Coco. Still, you have to feel bad for Samantha, as she definitely didn't ask for this. Booka and Brett. And now for a true tragedy of a love story. Because when the show put Booka and Brett together, a bunch of fans felt that this couple was going to go the distance and beyond. Sure, they may not have looked the part of a perfect match, but they showed that beauty is skin deep in many ways. Brett and Booka became instant favorites thanks to their adorable banter and obvious connection. But sadly, it didn't last. After a disastrous honesty challenge and a scathing letter from groom Patrick, the couple had a huge falling out and were never able to recover, which was sad for many fans because they really wanted this couple to work. But it just wasn't meant to be. Melissa and Bryce. Melissa and Bryce was definitely one of the more curious cases on Married at First Sight, because many who watched the show felt that these two definitely wouldn't get together via certain things caught on camera. And yet, when the finale came, they indeed kept the marriage. Both Melissa and Bryce shared photos of themselves indoor rock climbing to their individual profiles. And in January, Canberra-based Bryce shared some photos of himself down in Melissa's hometown of Melbourne. They've also hinted that they're living together. So, while things may not have been projected as perfect, they seem to make it work. Congrats if so. Jake and Beck. You ever hear of a one-sided relationship? Jake and Beck were just that. Because when Jake saw Beck, he was impressed and very happy. When Beck saw Jake, not so much. She even claimed he was looking at her like a piece of meat. Now, there's a couple of twists here, because despite that one-sidedness, they did stay together to the end of the show. But then, after the show, they split, mainly because of Jake's kiss to Booka. It was all very contentious, and further reason why shows like this really shouldn't exist, just saying. Coco and Sam. If you've been paying attention, you already know how this one ended. Coco's personality proved to be far too strong for Sam, and within a few minutes of them being put together, you knew it was going to end poorly. To be clear, Coco wasn't fully to blame for this. Sam was a total misogynist, and Coco put up with a lot from him. So it's no wonder she was able to connect with a certain other groom, because anyone is better than that. Jon and Carrie. Shall we end this on a positive note? Good, we agree. So let's talk about Jon and Carrie, because they were the darlings of the show, and the ones that the fans were most happy stayed together. According to the podcast So Dramatic, an inside source says they're still going strong. I can confirm that Carrie and Johnny are still very much together, host Megan revealed. Johnny is actually an actor though. He was asked by a producer to go on the show, and he did an audition. But funnily enough, he and Carrie actually ended up working out. See, it was meant to be a fix. And yet, it worked out well. Who knew? What do you think of the Married at First Sight couples now? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.